what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. And man, we got another good one here for you today through networking, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Works.
I'm telling you what, we're getting a whole bunch of networking people in here people that are doing business and they're doing good business and they got great intention. And our two people in the chair today are Jason Novak and Katie Clark, and they are with PMI Old Line, and we're going to be talking about property management today. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having us, Tim.
This is awesome. I loved our conversation. You got a great person working for you here.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
it came at a really good time because we're new to the area or starting out fresh here. So
yeah, trying to move into Harford County, trying to take over the Harford County short-term and midterm rental market, property management, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that, the benefits of that, what people can expect, but before we do that, let's get into a little bit about who you guys are, backstories and stuff like that. So, Jason, we're going to start it off with you.
Yeah, sure.
Jason is the founder of this franchise and the head boss, the CEO. Not the founder of the franchise, but you're the big dog, right?
Yeah. So I bought a franchise under Property Management Incorporated, which is out of Utah. But the great thing about it is there's 400 of us nationwide and overseas, so we can kind of leverage each other for knowledge and experience and everything else. But I'm the owner of Property Management Incorporated. It's PMI Old Line, which is here in Maryland.
Okay.
And it was a great opportunity. When I retired from the Army, I wanted to do something completely different.
Yeah.
And I had gotten interested in real estate, but also into kind of hospitality, because living and working overseas and staying all over the place, that value of like experiential travel leads into like, hey, you got to have a good place to stay when you have those experiences, and kind of enable that, because travel is the great educator. So that's kind of where I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And this is where we are today. So
when you say retired, did you serve like 20 years?
I did 22 years.
22 years in the Army.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's the most impressive country you've been to?
Oh, God, that's tough. I mean, we lived 4 years in Germany. So with that, we traveled all over Europe. And there's all these little things are different, whether it's the countryside or the city.
Yeah.
I would say Budapest, Hungary is one of my favorite cities.
Okay.
Paris would be another one. And then, but countryside, actually, my great-grandfather's from Slovenia. So it was cool to go there and see the countryside, which is gorgeous. It's right there next to Italy. It's right on the Adriatic. So it was really cool.
Being, traveling, but then also being in the military, I think gives you a whole different appreciation for what we have in our country.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it also reminds you of like how small the world is and how you can meet people that have backgrounds similar to you in the farthest reaches of places like Iraq. So,
yeah. Wow. And you've been in combat.
Yeah, I did 4 tours in Iraq.
4 tours. Wow.
Yeah. I was in the invasion, actually. I was a lieutenant. That was my first assignment in the Army.
Oh my gosh.
I was with 3rd Infantry Division, yeah.
Well, that could be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, there are a lot of stories.
Lots of stories, I'm sure. Wow. Well, yes, thank you.
You should ask him about his driving when we drive together.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like wartime driving?
I did get...
He does, yeah.
This is not a tank, Jason.
Exactly, pretty much.
I don't want to jinx it. I haven't impacted anybody yet. But, Maryland driving, you know how it is.
Yeah.
It is a war out there.
Yeah.
That's combat every day on the 695. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Katie?
So I have a different background. I was in healthcare for 12 years after I graduated. I worked at Hopkins. Huh? And then I was lucky enough to step aside and raise my boys. I have 3 boys.
Okay.
Teenage, dare I say, kind of adult boys.
Right?
They
don't grow up until...
Right, they haven't grown up
The brain
yet.
doesn't stop developing until 25, and I think that's even a low number. So.
I agree.
I'm 50, and I'm still questioning myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I wrap my husband right in there with him too, and yeah, he's almost 50 as well.
Now.
So I live in a frat house with my 4 boys. But I was lucky enough. My husband was able to give me the opportunity and our family the opportunity to raise the boys and be home with them.
Yep.
After COVID and, things getting a little bit more expensive, and I have a little more time on my hands now because the boys are growing up. So it was time for me to find something else to do. I have 3 tuitions now.
Okay.
But I still needed some flexibility.
Okay. Yeah.
I still want to make every game. I still want to make every college visit. I'm still the mom first.
Okay.
And it just so happened, Jason took a chance on me. We had an interview on his front porch.
Okay.
He was just looking
Hey,
to
neighbor.
expand. Yeah, pretty much. Well, we're friends and neighbors first, right? And now coworkers. So, but yeah, he was looking at that time to expand. And so he took a chance on me. And now I am the business development manager. So
Yeah.
I'm the one that goes out and networks and gives us
And tries
finds
to-
opportunities
try-
like this. right?
Find new opportunities, exactly. And she's doing a good job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you go. That's all. So how many years have you guys been collaborating and working together now?
Just over a year and a half.
Just over a year and a half.
I'm very green to this. I've learned a lot over the last year and a half. That's part of our conversation in the beginning. There's some things I could go right out and do no problem, and then there's been a learning curve as well. But Jason's been taking time with me to teach me some things and. Yeah, learn as you go and get out to. One thing I love is, because the boys aren't home, I get to go out and meet new people every day and have adult conversations.
And maybe a strength that you have that maybe Jason here has a
Right.
little bit of a,
I always was neglecting business development for operations, right? Like the priority was I'm making sure the properties are good and everything.
Yep.
And I'd be like, okay, next month or next week or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, next thing you know, it's 6 months, and I'm like, I've done no networking or any kind of
Sure.
And so Katie comes along, hey, you got any work for me? I'm like, absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
It is not my forte. My wife is a mental health counselor, and she's diagnosed me as an extroverted introvert. I come across like an extrovert, but I'm totally introverted.
Dude, I feel that. I feel that totally.
Yeah, right.
I think
Everybody
definitely
sees this joyful, funny guy or whatever. I'm like,
I'm exhausted
inside. My battery is drained.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I definitely have to recharge my social battery after a while. And I love one-to-ones and getting to know people on a personal level. Standing up in front of a crowd, still out of my comfort zone.
Amen.
But,
Oh.
I'm trying to get there.
You are going to get there. Well, you know what? Maybe you never really get there, but just the pursuit of doing it is going to, getting out of your comfort zone is going to be good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so we got PMI Old Line. Okay, what are we doing with the business here? I know we're working with property management. We're working with landlords. We're working with tenants. Give us a little bit of a background. What's going on?
Our specialty is in furnished housing, right? So it's the short-term and midterm rental, and that is really it's adjacent to the long-term rental and tenants and landlords and all that, but it's not exactly the same. It's more akin to hospitality because you've got to have everything in there so that someone can come in there with their luggage and feel at home.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize just how much what that really means. Whether it be everything that's in the kitchen to the towels and the sheets and everything else. You want it to be where they feel at home when they walk in the door.
Gotcha.
So that's the big difference. Is that, and our inspections are like twice a week, once a week. I mean, we're moving. The value of it is that you've got a lot higher prices that you can rent for. The downside on the front end is, of course, the cost of setting it up. But we're here to make sure that the right property in the right location is getting the most, maximizing the revenue it could get. Because with furnished housing, you can get 30% to even 50% more than you could, depending on where you're located.
Interesting.
Than long-term rental.
Yeah.
So you do have that. You got to pay up front to get all that stuff in place. But once you do that, you can get a lot more on long-term.
So of course you're moving into Hartford County, but currently, right now, what is your strongest market area?
Yeah. So we have a lot. Even though the regulations in Baltimore City are very strict, it's not conducive for short-term rental, but it's great for midterm rental.
Okay.
Because you've got hospitals, universities, all these different corporations that have people that come in for periods of time to work. So you've got students that are there for their master's program or PhD. We have some apartments right by Johns Hopkins University, so they're going to school there. They're teaching there. Nurses that are coming in and other medical professionals that are coming in temporarily for 3 months, 6 months to work at a hospital like Johns Hopkins or University Medical Center and all that. And then you've got interns. We got students coming in from all over the place that are doing internships at the corporations in the area.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
It's good because they don't want to get stuck in a long-term term lease, right?
Yeah, right.
Especially students, they're only there for the summer term or the January term, so they don't want to do that. And then me coming from a healthcare background, we know I worked with traveling nurses all the time, and their contract generally is 90 days.
Okay.
And so that makes Baltimore City a great opportunity for us.
So when we're talking about short term versus midterm, what time duration are we talking about?
Yeah. So short-term rental is less than 30 days, in industry standard. But you've got local regulations that define it differently, which changes the dynamic of it. But that is the industry standard, less than 30 days. 30 days or more is midterm rental. That's not a one-year lease. It doesn't come to the point of like it's
So up to a year?
Up to a year, but usually 6 months or less.
Okay.
Of course, with regulations in Maryland, after a 6-month period, you got to treat people differently because based on their status as a tenant kind of thing. So we keep that in mind, but usually it's 6 months or less. Or greater than 30 days, less than 6 months, month-to-month rental. That's midterm rental. And that's what you're looking at more for temporary housing versus vacation rental, which is usually less than 30 days.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
As far as vacation rentals, Chesapeake Bay, we've got properties there. We got properties out to the west, especially like near the Antietam battlefield, things like that.
Okay.
My own property in West Virginia, and so that's kind of how we're spread out based on where the demand is and where people want to stay. So
how would that be different from, say, an Airbnb? Like
that's exactly
that's exactly what it is.
Airbnb. I think that's one of the misconceptions is that like. And even from people on Airbnb, they think that it's like, it's the entity, it's the property management company, but actually it's just an online travel agency.
Okay.
It's a go-between. It's just like marketing it anywhere else, like you would with Zillow or something like that.
Sure.
A little bit different based on customer service and things like that, but it's in essence the same thing. So it's a platform to list the properties on.
Gotcha.
What it comes down to.
Gotcha. And of course, the services that you're providing for the property, like you were talking about before, having things stocked, towels, sheets, stuff like that, and everything like that. So Baltimore's a pretty hot region for you guys, but now you're pushing up into Harford County. So what locations in Harford County do you feel PMI Old Line can best serve? Here.
Really love the historic Happy Grace area. I think it's great right by the water line. I've been down there a lot checking it out, all the restaurants, the shops, the nature there. So, I mean, everything is really good. And that's another thing we do. We can tell you which property is great for short term and which is midterm. There's a lot of different, rules and regulations. Yeah. That historic Havre de Grace area would be great for short term. So coming in for the weekend, coming in for a wedding, coming in for a boating excursion. But if you are outside that historic area, they don't allow short term rentals. So then we would move into a month-to-month rental. Yeah. So, I popped in like City Hall last week, try to learn a little bit more about it. And so there's a lot of different ins and outs that we know that we can help people that either already have a property or are looking to invest in a property and find something.
So Havre de Grace is going to be a big area of
focus.
I
think that would be great for short-term rentals. As far as a month-to-month rental, we would be looking around Harford County Community College, any of the hospitals, local hospitals around here, the Aberdeen Proving Grounds.
That's
wow,
because we have right near a base, and
exactly.
Being in the military, and this is kind of how the idea originated from, was how much you traveled. And
absolutely, and when you move from place to place in the military, it's about a month process of getting to the new place, getting your furniture moved to the new place. If you're overseas, add 2 more months. It's the 3-month process because the boat is shipping across your furniture. So with that, we've many times stayed in a place for a fully furnished place for a couple months, waiting for all of our stuff to arrive, waiting to buy a house, waiting to all the things. So with that, there's that opportunity there. Plus you have temporary duty, and temporary duty, you might come in and work for a month or something at Aberdeen Proving Grounds or another military base like that. So basically Harford County, also from the strategic level, if you're looking at the 95 corridor, it's between Baltimore and Philly.
Yeah.
And
what makes Harford County just a great location for people.
You've got all that. You've got the Chesapeake Bay, which would be a great thing from the vacation rental aspect. You've also got Katie has opened my eyes to the high demand for lacrosse in Maryland.
Oh my gosh,
it's a big hotspot. Yeah.
Yes, the East Coast, specifically in this mid-East Coast region, is so big in lacrosse.
Absolutely. So my goal when we first started talking, eventually, I would love to find homes around big fields. There's the Copperplex up here. I have 2 lacrosse players.
Yeah.
I am fortunate to live in Maryland, so we travel maybe 2 hours here and there. Every once in a while we'll go to Florida, something like that, but generally we're not traveling.
Yeah.
However, during the recruiting seasons, which generally happens your junior year of high school, kids are coming from all over. A lot of times I've talked to families that are in the Midwest or West that come over, maybe 5 kids at a time, and they stay at a place, and they rotate the parents.
Okay.
Because they might be there for a month to check out all the hot showcases so they can get recruited.
Yeah.
The coaches line up along the fields to get recruited. But what parent can take off an entire month, right? So the parent might rotate every week. Now, I would not want to stay in a hotel with
for a month.
For a
right?
month.
If it's a weekend, that's one thing.
Right. So I would love a kitchen, right? To do home cooked meals. I would want washer and dryer so I can launder all the equipment, or even just a garage or another space to store all the equipment.
Yeah.
That's so you're
smart.
not in the same room with us.
Yeah.
Just comfortable beds, like you said, just home away from home.
Right.
So I think, it would be ideal to find some homes around some big fields. And a lot of the fields don't have, because they are in neighborhoods, you'll find in back sets of neighborhoods, they don't have a lot of hotels around.
Yeah.
So you might be coming, you might be coming from 5 hours away, but you're still maybe driving 45 minutes once you get to the hotel, to the field transportation. So
you're a big lacrosse family. We're a big volleyball family.
Okay.
My daughter played at HCC, and they recruited kids from globally. They had 2 girls from Italy. It's wild. So.
Exactly.
Certainly being around those educational institutions is going to be beneficial, and then, of course, the military base, too.
Right.
Absolutely.
So not only then, exactly. So now back to HCC, which is great. You also have people coming in for graduations, or you coming in for game days, or family. There's so much to do. Either you can do that short-term and midterm, and a lot of times we'll use a property for both to increase the owner's revenue potential.
Right.
So during the high seasons of, if we're by the water, we'll use that for short-term rental during the summer months, but then transition to month-to-month rental when it's not necessarily you're coming in to stay by the water. You might just need a place to
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are very familiar with the regulations, but buyers and sellers in real estate, which we're in, is somebody wants to sell their house, but they also need to buy a house, but they don't necessarily want to just compromise on just any house. They want the time. And so sometimes lining that up is a challenge. And so what if I'm a seller that can sell their house and then move into something short term while I shop for the house that I absolutely want?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that align with what we're doing here?
Absolutely. That's another thing that, we're often, I get real estate agents coming out to me, hey, do you got one in this area? Do you want this area? Insurance companies too. In fact, we got a property right now that has rented all year long just for insurance while they're staying there while their house is being repaired from a damage, and that has been the constant through that property outside of DC. So, that's another great one that's very consistent, and the insurance companies are not going to haggle prices. They're just going to be like, got it, let's do it, and extend for months.
That's interesting. Now you got my wheels turning. I didn't expect it to go this way, but I'm like, hey, this could really solve a lot of problems for our clients.
Absolutely. Because we actually, unfortunately, a couple of years did have a flood, and so we were displaced. Luckily, one of my kids had just gone back to college, so it was only 4 of us, and they did put us up in an extended suite. And it was about 2 weeks. So, like I said, we were very lucky it wasn't that long. But had it been any longer, we would have definitely had to
happened to an old client of ours. They had some kind of, I think it was a flood, and they got put up in that, and they thought it was only going to be for X amount of time, and it turned out to be months and months and months and months. which was
Exactly.
driving them insane.
It can. And I've even known people on the lacrosse field again who have had to bounce from place to place because it was just a short-term location and they thought it was going to be longer, I'm sorry, their home wasn't ready in time. So they had to bounce to another place. So because the short-term rental was already rented for another customer. Mm-hmm. So a month to month will give you a little bit longer of a stay.
And just to emphasize the hybrid piece, one of the things that we also do is help investors and buyers find the right property. Mm-hmm. But we have a partnership because I'm a real estate agent in license.
Okay.
But I do not enjoy the buying and selling process.
I do.
I know. That's why we're here. So what we do is advise in the process. We will go through, we will bring in, we have, referral network of real estate agents. Yeah. And that we're trying to always grow that to new areas. Sure. But we will bring that buyer, that buyer agent in and basically, advise the owner and that agent on like, here's where you want to look, here's where you don't want to look, whether it be based on regulations or demand, because we can pull that data. Yeah. We can pull data on like, hey, these are the places you want to look, and these are the places you don't want to look based on whether it's restrictions, whether it's just, hey, there's no demand there. Yeah. And sometimes it's a matter of like, there's not enough data to even tell you how much demand there is here. Mm-hmm. One of the places we see as a big gap is Harford and Cecil counties just don't have enough data to really be certain, but it looks like there's high demand, there's low supply. Yeah. So you have a lot of potential. Right. That has not yet been tapped into. So that's one of the reasons we're here. So we were like, hey, this place really has potential. Mm-hmm. It just hasn't been fully, leveraged yet. So
other than real estate agents, when you guys are marketing for your services, who is your target audience?
Well, I mean, there's two sides, right? There's the side of like the new inventory, the new owners and the new properties, and that piece, a lot of that is real estate agents. But on the vendor side from operations, HVAC is critical. Okay. If your HVAC goes out, that's going to be that's reputation damage right there. Yeah. Cleaners, huge. Those two are I would say the most critical, and the third most critical would be pest control. Pest control. Yeah. Preventative maintenance is key, and then everything else is like handyman. I mean, we do our own maintenance to a level. Yeah. But you know what? I am not a drywall finishing guy. Like that is not.
That is an art, man.
Yeah. That is an art. There's things I can do, but that's not one that I want to touch. So that is definitely an art form. So things like that, we're always looking for those people that can come in, do it fast, do it well. As we say in the old triangle is like, you can do things fast, you can do things well, you can do things cheap. You can only pick two. You can't do all three.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
I always think I have this other networking group and we have power groups, and I always feel like I can just same thing, be kind of split into two power groups, right? The beginning, the investor power group. Okay. And really anybody can be an investor. It doesn't matter who you are. Sure, right? Sure. So I'll talk to anybody because you never know who has a property, and maybe they're trying to manage it themselves right now and they've become overwhelmed, so they need a property management. And then the realtors, and then like we spoke before, other property managers we're good lead referrals for each other. Maybe we're not in the area, and the big thing is maybe they're long-term property managers and just long-term. I have found that a lot, that people think of property management, you just think of long-term. You don't necessarily think of the midterm and the short-term. So I think, so that's our good referral partners. And then once we have the home, like you said, great cleaners, great pest control, handymen. I mean, you name it. Yeah. So just like you take care of your house, right? All the people you need to.
Absolutely.
I think I know we take care of our owners' properties way better than our own houses. We've
made
that
comment.
That's the truth.
It's pristine every time.
I get to see all these beautiful houses. And then
I'll get to that later.
Home, I'm so tired. I'm like,
exactly. No, 100%.
Yeah. I absolutely know that. I say that all the time. I'm like, oh, they left a crumb here. I got to pick that up. Meanwhile, I go back to my frat house, like I said, with all my boys, and I'm like, what are we doing?
What are we doing here? There are people that live better than this. Come on, guys. Let's get it together.
Pristine. So we definitely have a pristine, and being a veteran, you definitely love your
Oh,
way of doing
he's very
things.
organized.
Yeah,
He's got
absolutely, which
everything.
is good. Yeah.
I bet he has hospital corners on his bed.
Actually, that is part of the standard.
That is actually.
We actually have a video that we provide
yes.
to the cleaners of exactly how we want the beds made.
Nice.
And there's actually a certification process that PMI, and that's the great thing about PMI is like the training program.
Okay.
So I could leverage, like when Katie came on, she went through how many hours of training just to kind of get
hours,
where you knew all the standards of everything from what the
That's
definitions of all that we do
the-
is to our standards and everything else and about business development. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm a landlord, and I've always thought that long term is going to be better than short term, midterm, because I have a consistent tenant in there. What can you tell me to sway me to see the positives in short term and midterm rentals?
Yeah. Well, I think part of it too is we're evaluating two things when we go in and look at a new property and a new owner.
Okay.
One is the owner have the right mindset to be an owner in this, industry.
Okay.
And the other thing is is the property the right location, the right type of property to have demand?
Okay.
So you may have a property that is perfect for long-term rental, but is
Gotcha.
not going to be perfect or ideal for what we're looking for. Or you may have an owner that maybe is too emotionally attached to a property. And that is going to be disruptive to operations if I'm constantly getting, we're getting messages about like, hey, they moved a chair, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you got to let it go.
Right. Stay off the camera.
Exactly. Right.
You can't do that.
So, and another thing with that is we don't let them have indoor cameras and stuff like that. I mean, there's external for security, but there's no like indoor cameras in properties or anything like that. But with long-term rental, you can have more consistency, but you're going to have a lower, price, so lower revenue. The other thing too is that with short-term or mid-term rental, we're in there constantly.
Okay.
Whether it's, if it's a 1 month rental, we're coming in right behind it. It's getting cleaned. We're inspecting everything.
Yeah.
Making sure everything's still working, whether it's light bulbs to, this piece of furniture is damaged. And then we have we call it a damage waiver program, which the guest actually pays for it as part of the fees.
Okay.
That covers up to $5,000 in damages. So plus liability. And so we go in there and you're like, hey, guess what? You got a new, I actually told one of my owners recently, hey, guess what? You got a new microwave. They broke the door on the old one.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you got a new microwave, no charge to you.
Wow.
So, things like that.
Okay.
And I think that, I think that sets us apart from bigger property management companies because a lot of larger companies will rely on their cleaners to be like, oh, this is broken, or maybe even the next guest to call ahead because if they're, a national brand or something like that, they're not necessarily going into that property every single time where we're going in between every guest to make sure the next guest gets that same level of comfort and respect and a great experience overall.
Yeah.
Our priority is just that, is quality and like exceptional service. So
Yeah, certainly. If I'm a landlord, I want somebody to be taking care of my property.
Absolutely.
God, you
Yeah.
See so many nightmares of tenants who just destroy properties when
absolutely,
they're in there for
and
a
you
while.
may not know until
until it's
the
too
end
late.
of the lease, and
Yeah.
you're like, what happened?
What
to
happened in
this place?
here? Yeah.
And then you have the security deposits. You got to. That's not. You don't have to deal with that because that damage waiver program. You don't need security deposits, so you don't have that, and you don't have a dispute with the guest, or we call them guests versus tenants because they don't have the tenant rights. So guests also gives us that perspective of it's a hospitality game. We're communicating with them, day and night when hey, I can't find the thing, or where's this, and we're answering questions, and we're providing. We have YouTube videos just on like this is how you unlock the lock, and this is how you use the thermostat that's maybe a little quirky, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So we are doing all those things on a constant basis, and because we're in there constantly, we're making sure the property's at tip-top shape all the time.
Yeah.
And there are times when things come, people do things, and you got to replace a whole floor. But when we get it done, we're putting the insurance claim in, getting it done. The owners, actually we got revenue back for lost revenue as part of the insurance claim.
Wow.
So
there's really minimal things that I need to worry about as a landlord when I'm working with you guys.
The big critical moment with a landlord or an owner is that beginning onboarding, because we're going to drive you crazy with all the questions we ask, because we're going to learn that property top to bottom.
Okay.
So it'll be like, hey, when's the last time you did filter changes and had an HVAC maintenance, and when's, what are all your vendors? What are, what is any quirks in this place that we need to know about? Any deferred maintenance? All the things we're going to be asking about your property so that we know it and can answer all those things on your behalf. That process is pretty in-depth. Yeah. Because we're going to go through and we're going to count every plate and every fork, every knife and everything. And go, okay, this is what you have and this is what you need.
Right.
And then it's about decision points from then on. It's like, okay, so, I think that we know you'll get more money if you say you have a hot tub at this property. Okay. And I know you can't afford that now, but in a year, after we bring in this revenue on this property, and I can tell you that with the hot tub, the price will be higher, the demand will be higher.
Okay.
So, here's another investment opportunity to reinvest in this property. This is our recommendation, and it's a decision point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to do it, or no, I want to wait, or I accept the level of occupancy and the price and all that kind of thing. So it's more about decision points with owners of going, hey, guess what? This is an opportunity. This is what we think maybe you need to do. Yeah. Other than that, it's like, okay, if we get a insurance claim on something, and would you like to upgrade versus, do you want a higher standard microwave, or do you just want your replacement for the microwave?
Right.
That you got, so.
Yeah.
I think our end goal is fantastic guest experience, all while giving our owners of the properties a stress-free experience.
Yes.
We just
absolutely
want to.
Yeah. I think you nailed it right there. Yeah.
And that hospitality leads to more demand, which leads to higher revenue for our owners. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and we'll go room to room and say, I think you really should do a queen bed in here instead of a double bed, because more comfort level, or have TVs in the bedroom, or maybe a little area to do a workout area if the property allows. A desk for workspace if people are coming in the month-to-month corporate housing. Mm-hmm. So we'll fine-tune the house to make it perfect for every guest.
All those things are not just from a nice-to-have perspective. They're about competitive advantage in the market.
Yeah.
Because all those little things are things that get checked off in online travel agencies like Airbnb. Uh-huh. So when someone's searching, they're searching for specific criteria. Right. The more of those boxes we have checked, the higher your potential for demand is.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think another thing that we haven't touched on yet is that we don't always just rent out to one guest. Sometimes the month-to-month or the short-term, really mainly just the month-to-month, I would guess. We could also offer pad splitting. That might be a better option, because maybe a nurse isn't coming in and want a 4-bedroom home, right?
Sure.
There's no need.
Okay.
So we would take the 4-bedroom home and rent out 4 individual rooms. So they'd have a shared common space, the kitchen, the basement, like I said, a little gym area, something like that. But we would pad split the 4 rooms, which would also bring in more revenue.
So you have 4 nurses staying in one, 4-bedroom house instead of just one sitting by herself in a 4-bedroom,
which certainly goes with college, university,
exactly, grad students,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Operations on that is a little more complicated because you've got a common space and then 4 rooms rotating, when they're occupied. So
right.
On our side, we are, in there more often because you may have turnovers that are at different times, and you have
all
that
the more better for me as a landlord for you to be in there multiple times, as many times.
Exactly. And you have a higher occupancy rate because instead of it being only people that look for 4-bedroom, it's 4 people looking for 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
Or it could be 4-bedroom as one unit.
Yeah.
So it becomes an ultra hybrid in a way.
So, and I guess for occupancy, probably the most important thing with this is the location and demand of the house.
And reputation.
And
that's one of the things that we focus on first. Mm-hmm. In the first, 6 months to a year of a property, the first quarter is let's get Airbnb, you've heard of like guest favorites for properties because there's Superhost, which is the host status, and then there's the property status, which is that guest favorite status.
Okay.
We're looking to get guest favorite as fast as possible. Okay. So it's all about, anytime we're always trying to achieve the highest rating.
Sure.
But that's when we're really focused on not so much a higher price.
Yep.
Let's lower the price to get demand in, get that occupancy up, get those ratings up. So then it hits guest favorite and it goes to the top of the algorithm.
There you go.
Then you go, okay, now it's high demand and the price goes up.
Yeah.
And we have dynamic pricing, so it reacts based on the demand in the area. With that, you look at your property and you have weekends that may be double what you have on weekdays, just because that's what the market is, priced at.
Right.
So that's the great thing is we're not doing that. We're not changing it. It's a system that we tie your listing into, and it is pricing everywhere. So,
and that works out for the landlords or the owners stay as well, because obviously if you have a short-term vacation rental, you still want to enjoy it too, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be able to block off times where you can enjoy it as well, whenever you want to. But Jason will give them, hey, it's a holiday weekend, so you will be able to make more revenue here.
Yes.
So it's your choice still.
We inform the decision.
We want to make sure.
Yeah. So when are we heading to the beach?
Right.
Well, I know, right?
We talked about that.
We did talk about it a little bit.
Well, we're not quite there yet.
We're not quite there yet, just because so it's Jason and myself,
yeah.
And then he just hired on another assistant property manager, so she goes out and inspects the property as well. And then we also have some Rangel, who she lives in the Philippines, right?
She's my virtual assistant. She's been with me for 2 years now, so yeah.
So
and is that working for you well? I've thought about it myself.
She's a young person. She's studying, going to college, and she really just wants to help. And she can do a lot of the things online while we're out in the field. Yeah. So hey, Rangel, can you take care of this, that? So she's managing listings and managing responses to guests at times and stuff like that.
That's cool.
While we're out inspecting a property or doing a maintenance issue or something like that. So,
but that certainly would be a goal too. But then we would just need like a cluster, and then hire another property manager, like boots on the ground there, so we can still provide those inspections and keep up with the brand that we want to uphold.
Is that a goal for the near future?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm basically modeling this after kind of the way I did intelligence in Iraq. So I was Special Operations Intelligence Detachment Commander for a battalion in Special Forces. So with that, we were all over a third of Iraq, and I had little teams everywhere. Yeah. And that concept comes into you get highly trained, well-motivated people in small clusters they can manage, and we can support from the center hub. The same kind of concept of what we're building now with our property management company. So with that, even though we're in kind of, the Baltimore area of Maryland, we can operate anywhere if I've got the right people and the right training and the right kind of support. Yeah. So that goes into everything from, what technologies we use to maintain communications and to do inspections and to communicate what the properties need, to making sure that the people are motivated, selecting the right people on, and then training them properly up. So I have a month-long training program for people that
sounds like there's a lot of good training going on.
The crawl, walk, run, just like the Army.
Exactly. Exactly. So as you look at growing your business, what do you feel is the biggest challenge you're facing right now that maybe keeps you up late at night?
I think part of it is, obviously, as you grow, there's always that, potential for loss of control or quality control. Yeah. And that, for me, is key. Quality control and our reputation is the most critical piece. Sure. So with that, that's probably the thing that, drives me nuts all the time.
Yep. How big is too big?
Right.
Or how fast to get that
exactly
big. That constant.
It's that scaling properly versus just growing.
Right.
So
right. No, I feel you on that one. How about
right,
from what you do for the business? What do you feel is your biggest challenge to create value for Jason and everybody and customers and the whole business as a whole? What do you feel is your biggest challenge?
I think I've learned a lot over the last year and a half, and honestly, when I first started, I was doing a lot of the inspections too. Okay. So now that he's hired Helen, I've been able to not do that as much. Actually, tomorrow we're all hands on deck, because another thing we do is we're gonna decorate for the holidays one of our cabin in Washington County. Oh, okay. So just another little perk of what we do and make it special for the guests. So now I would say my goal or challenge will be I'm very technology challenged. Okay. So I'm learning as I go. That's my way. But social media, I really want to get out and do better with my LinkedIn and get us just more involved, like blogs, and maybe on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, those type of things. So, it just, we can get out there and get our name out there. So that would be my challenge of the new year, I would say.
There you go.
And I will have now more time to do that too.
Right.
You know, I've kind of started to build my network. You know, I've only been doing this a year and a half, and I feel like I've definitely met a lot of people along the way. So now it's my way of like, not only people helping me, but also me giving back to them and sharing leads and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And just learning that way.
Yeah.
Growing that way.
As individuals, as business owners, certainly time management is trying to balance everything.
100%.
I'll start with you, Jason. I'm a true believer in daily habits, that creating consistency on your personal level. Is there a daily habit that is non-negotiable that must happen most days in order for you to be successful in your business?
That's a great question, and that's one of the challenges that I face. And I think it's something that even when I was in the military, it was about, taking care of myself as well as taking care of the business, and prioritizing myself and my family has always been the challenge.
Yeah.
I would always neglect myself for the mission or whatever.
Yeah.
That continues to be a challenge, but it's something that I'm aware of, and I try to focus better on.
Okay.
Is make that time for your family. My wife runs her own business as well. She's an acupuncturist and mental health counselor.
Oh.
So with that, we both are going chaos, full chaos mode.
Yeah, she just has to stick a few pins
I know,
in you.
right? Yeah. How hard can it be?
Calm me
Right?
down, right?
But it has been challenging because of that. So you have to make that time every day and say, don't get distracted by the thing. She's trying to talk to you about something important right now.
Okay.
Stop what you're doing for a minute.
Be present.
And be present.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, trying to take care of yourself physically, whether it's fitness, how you're eating and everything else, is something that I am struggling to get out of a hole since I got out of the Army.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, you kind of seem like you're a little jacked.
I am out of shape right now
Come
compared
on.
to my standard.
I don't believe it.
No, you don't understand. And it's been hard because, my metabolism got used to 22 years in the Army, and then I get out of it, and there's no longer the need to run 5 miles. And so why would I do it? And plus my injuries, it's like I can't run anymore. So I got to find alternative means.
Gotcha.
But, you get up in the morning, and there's something like, property-wise, guest-wise, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll work out after, this. And then, now it's lunchtime. And then,
you just keep on pushing
exactly.
that
And it's like,
off.
well, maybe tomorrow.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
So.
Can't win every day, but you just got to try to win most days.
Yeah.
How about you? Daily habits. I mean, you're a mom of 3.
Exactly. So I think the Google Calendar helps us a lot.
Okay.
So I would say I'm a calendar person, and I started at home, with all of my boys and myself, and then now I've added Jason. It's always about the calendar invites, and just kind of making sure everybody is.
What's one more guy? What's one more guy in the family?
No problem. Exactly. So I think
3 boys, Jason.
That keeps me at least, my day to day. And then I agree. I always try to at least get a walk in every day and make time for myself. And I'm still part-time, which was, a priority because my family still is a big priority. And
Absolutely.
so this affords me the flexibility of, I can do my walk in the morning and then go to a networking event, right?
Yep.
And then I'll run to the grocery store. I do that every day. So, I can do that, and then I'll sit down, and like I said, it's all like calendar based. I'll sit down, okay, now I'm going to do like an hour of just like office work and just be on the computer for a good hour.
Yeah. So are you literally time blocking your day?
A lot of times I do.
So
time block my day.
tomorrow, this time block is this, this time block is that.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's all going to be on the calendar. I'm going to forget.
I try to, but in real estate, random things pop
everything
up,
pops
and I don't. You can't follow it to a T, but the fact that you have the intention there,
and
is
it's
certainly
not.
a great habit to have.
I wouldn't say it's maybe a day by day or that night. Okay, what do we have? What do we have to do?
Yeah.
The spring will get busy with games.
Yep.
So I'll add that to the calendar, making sure and just work around.
Yeah.
Do the work around.
And communication is key from the team perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? So, we every Monday are having our meeting to say, okay, over the weekend we have new reservations, so it changed the dynamic of what we did, talked about on Friday. But Monday we're talking about the week. Fridays we're talking about the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So we're actually like communicating across the whole team to say, okay, you've got this, I've got that.
Yep. And are you guys meeting on a Zoom call type thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I love to give my team the flexibility to do the other things they need to do. And for me, it's not about hours, it's about the job. It's about the performance. So like if you can do an inspection and get it done in like 2 hours versus 3 hours, and you did it right and you did it well, and the guest gave you a 5-star review on the back end, I'm going to reward you for that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be like, you got to do 9 hours a day or 8 hours or whatever. No, it's about getting the jobs done, getting the tasks done. So,
and that's the beauty of it, because I'm a morning person,
okay.
And because my kids are out of the house during the day, right? So I want to get my stuff done, and then by dinner time and all that kind of stuff, I want to be present, like you said.
Yeah.
But Helen has a young child, so maybe she needs to do things in the evening because maybe that's when her childcare is available, or whatever it is. But it is.
Well, to have that flexibility, to be able to create your schedule, but make sure that you're getting the job done.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm going to ask you to do hard things on days when maybe you don't want to. Like we have back-to-back reservations at one property that is going to be the day after Christmas, another one the day after New Year's. So it's like, and we got to be in there we got to get the job done between 11 and 4 p.m.
Wow.
Because that's when one guest is checking out and the other one's checking in.
Jeez.
So that's got to all get done, and
hey, you guys got it. Come on.
But the point is like there are times when I'm going to ask you to do hard, do it on the days when you really don't want to do it. But there's other times when I'm going to give you the flexibility to take care of what you need to take care of in your own life and family, and not going to be a thing where you just got to sit at the desk and twiddle your thumbs because it's a 9 to 5. That's not the way we operate.
So. Good leadership right there. Yeah. What's your greatest goal for 2026?
2026.
And we might, as we're recording this, we're in December right now, so this could be January. So for the new
now.
year, for the new year.
Yeah.
Honestly, we want to grow in Harford and Cecil counties because we see the potential and we see the opportunity here.
Okay.
With that, our goal for 2026 would be to have, I would say, 4 properties in Harford and 4 properties in Cecil. I like to give goals that are achievable, and I love to exceed those goals and say, look what we did beyond that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the goal for 2026 is to grow into this area and really become more part of this community than, we're just now starting to get into this community, and we love it already. So we want to get to know it more.
Community.
It's been very welcoming. I mean, all the networking so far I've done, it's been very welcoming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, I piggyback off of that goal because I'll be the one up here meeting everyone and doing that.
Growth in Harford and Cecil in 2026. That's the goal. That's the goal. So for people that are listening, you got a special promotion for them if they're interested in your services. Give us the promotion here.
Absolutely. For properties that meet our criteria of the right property in the right place, we're offering right now 20% off on our onboarding fees, which are part of the setup of everything.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty huge discount there. So Cecil and Harford counties, reach out to us if you're interested in our program. We'll take a look at your property, and if you are a right fit, 20% off. And if you use TMA code, we'll put it up to 25%.
Woo! Code TMA. If you're interested, that's awesome. Thank you. If people want more information about either a landlord or guests, how can people connect with you the best?
The best way is through our website, PMIOldline.com.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to remember, and you can go on there and actually fill out whether you're an owner and are interested in that, or if you're a vendor and you want to connect.
Okay.
You can go on there and identify, and we'll reach out. So.
And when that Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok grow from all the content that Katie's going to be producing.
That's right. I did just post my first blog this week.
Okay. Hey, is that on the website?
It is on the website.
It is on the website.
I checked, and it's I did it right.
Nice.
It's going viral, baby.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming in. I encourage people to seek you guys out. You seem like you're doing really good things, and just really enjoyed this interview. Actually, a lot. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, but not at all. But a lot more eye opening than I thought it might be. So
Oh, great.
yeah, this is
Good.
this is
Well,
awesome. So
I appreciate you,
Yeah.
giving us the opportunity.
absolutely.
Thanks, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Jason Novak, Katie Clark. So please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We are at the Markland Advantage. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe and listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can watch and see how good looking these people are and watch us on YouTube and subscribe while you're there because we're trying to grow the channel. But again, Jason Novak, Katie Clark, thanks so much for joining us. And until next time, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.